everyone. Tonight I thought I'd give you a couple of ideas on the Chopin Harp Etude, Opus 25, number 1, for practicing it and for getting a good tone. I'm holding this microphone right up to my mouth now to see if I can get a better pickup, because otherwise it's too quiet, you can't hear anything I'm suggesting. So, for the melody note, you want every note to use the drop of the arm, heavy arm weight, so you have to be able to let your whole arm fall from your shoulder right through to the floor, or right onto your lap. Right through to the floor is better. But for the melody note, give it a good sharp whack with the finger as long as the wrist is pliable, and that note will sing. Somebody once said that any good cantabile is at least a mezzo forte. I thought that was a good point. So even if it says soft in the piece, you want that to shine. That whack with steel ball bearings in your finger pads, excuse me, and the raised arch will do it for you when you give it a good smack, as long as the wrist is pliable. For the inner voice, imagine each finger is played the same way as far as arm dropping, heavy arm dropping. But when you drop slowly right through to the floor with your arm weight, imagine your fingers are in the fur of a cat and they're drawing toward you, pulling toward you gently, and massaging the cat in its fur. Or imagine there's a little rope underneath your wrist as you drop, and when you drop, pull up on that as you get to the lowest point in the key with your weight, pull up in the wrist with the rope. So, see how quiet? Or imagine a feather floating down from the clouds. So the image makes a huge difference. So it's all a matter of listening and knowing what the technique is, understanding your technique totally of how to use the weight for weight touch. So and it has to end up sounding like a harp. And there's 6/16 in each quarter, so you don't want it to sound 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because Chopin didn't write it as 2 triplets, he wrote it as 6/16 notes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And when the damper pedal's down, hands together. I'll set this up and try it a bit hands together. It becomes like this. But the memory is tricky because Chopin puts larger notes on some of those 16ths that are between those melody notes, and you have to bring that voice out and make it go somewhere as well. So it's a good study, and that's what it is a study, but Chopin's etudes are more than studies. They're beautiful pieces standing on their own. So I hope that gives you a couple of ideas on practicing it that make you want to work on it. It's well worth it. And another one is the Ocean Etude. It's a good one to start on your journey through the Chopin etudes, because it's not technically quite as difficult as something like this one, but enjoy it. It's fun practicing those. And don't forget the uneven practice, because if you go long, short, long in the heavy, where you're giving a good whack to every finger, each one has to be a balance. And then the second way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then triplets, 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 1, 2, 3. And then too long, too short. And then too short, too long. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. And even. Bring out that melody. Give it a good whack. See, when you turn your hand like that, just let your close your fingers in a little, and turn it around. You'll have a natural cup in your hand that gives you the main arch. It's like a highway. If you think of the wrist shoving the arm weight up onto this highway, and the highway is movable, you know, there's a video of the Golden Gate Bridge in a windstorm, and that highway's moving around quite a lot, but there's the strength of the bridge still, that the cars don't fall off if it isn't too strong a wind. But and when you do it hands together, you can feel, set that up there. Is to actually tongue it. Is to actually tongue it and feel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that, don't go any faster than you can tongue it. Then you'll build the strength properly in your hands. So. Just imagine you're playing a harp, and then it plays nicely for you. Anyway, I hope that gives you a few ideas with it, and have a good evening. Bye-bye.